All right, let's talk about a river. But, this isn't really a story about nature. It's about how something as simple as a shared river can and often does turn into a full-blown international crisis. We're going to break down how decades of cooperation can just evaporate, really, one drop at a time.
So, how does this even happen? How does a shared river become this geopolitical flashpoint? Well, let's look at our case study here. Two neighboring countries, Arvania and Belvaria. For them, the Blue River isn't just some line on a map, it's their lifeline. But here's the kicker. What happens when one country's idea of progress literally becomes poison for the other?
And right here, this is the core of the problem. It's all about geography. See, upstream you've got Belvaria, and their economy is booming. We're talking new factories, manufacturing, the whole deal. But then, downstream, you have Arvania, and their entire agricultural economy, it absolutely depends on that same water staying clean. You can see how the potential for conflict is just baked right into the map.
But, for a long time, they actually managed this. They had a plan. Way back in 1974, both nations signed the Blue River Agreement. And this was a really forward-thinking deal. It was specifically designed to prevent the exact kind of crisis we're talking about now. It set clear rules for water quality, for pollution, and for decades, it actually worked.
So what changed? For decades, everything was stable. But then, the whole situation just unraveled, and with frankly alarming speed. Get this, just 6 months ago, Arvania starts detecting these spikes in industrial pollution. So they tried diplomacy, right? They hold talks. But last month, those talks completely collapsed. They went nowhere. And just like that, a stable relationship was suddenly right on the brink.
This is where everything changed. What was basically a dispute of he said, she said, accusations and denials, was about to become a crisis grounded in cold, hard evidence. A brand new report came out from a regional commission, and it was the undeniable breaking point.
Now, to really get why this report was such a bombshell, you have to know about another treaty. It's bigger, it's more powerful, the Central Basin Environmental Accord, or CBEA. And look, this isn't just some friendly agreement. We're talking about a binding pact with super strict rules on industrial waste, on transparency, and on inspections. And this is the treaty that Bulgaria was now officially accused of violating. The stakes just got a whole lot higher. And what the report laid out was devastating, because it revealed a clear pattern. It wasn't just one mistake. It verified 3 distinct violations. First, Bulgarian factories were absolutely exceeding the legal limits for chemical waste. Second, they didn't tell anyone about it, completely breaching emergency protocols. And third, and this is a big one, when inspectors showed up to check things out, Bulgaria physically blocked them from getting access, twice. See, this wasn't an accident. This was a deliberate pattern of noncompliance. And inside that report, there was one statistic that was just staggering. 30 years. That single number, it says everything about the devastating impact of all this pollution. And here's the official finding that gives that number its real punch. This came from the Regional Water Commission, a neutral third party, right? They confirmed that the water quality downstream in Arvania had plunged to its lowest level in nearly 3 decades. For Arvania, this was it. This was their worst-case scenario, and now it was officially verified. So, okay, a damning report is one thing. But what does this actually mean for the people living in Arvania? Because verified violations are just words on a page. The real-world consequences, that's where this crisis really hits home. And let me tell you, the Arvanian government is feeling the heat from every possible direction. And the fallout was immediate, and it was severe. You've got farmers seeing massive agricultural losses. Their crops are literally being damaged by the water. Major cities are suddenly facing soaring costs just to make the river water safe to drink. Out on the streets, people are angry, and they're demanding action. And of course, in the halls of power, political opponents and really powerful groups like the Farmers Union are hammering the government, demanding they do something. So what you're seeing here is basically a perfect storm hitting the Arvanian government. The economic damage is high, the public anger is at a boiling point, and the political opposition, it's growing stronger by the day. For the leaders in Arvania, doing nothing is no longer an option. It's just become politically impossible.
Think about it. The first attempt at diplomacy completely failed. And now, this new report has proven, beyond a doubt, a direct violation of international law. So for Arvania, the conclusion is pretty stark. Diplomacy has failed. The time for just talking is over.
And all of this brings us to the one critical question.
With its water supply literally at risk, what is Armenia going to do next? Their economy, their environment, the health of their people, it's all on the line. They have to act. And the conversation has already shifted. It's now about what kind of sanctions, what kind of pressure they can apply to force Belvaria to comply. The stage is set for a really dangerous escalation. And what happens next? Well, that's what everyone is waiting to see.